Hi guys, it's Beth. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my project share for the Joy of Blue collaboration that's hosted by Sarah at Crafting and Relaxing. And the point of this collaboration is to use blue, like enjoy using blue crafty items. So if you are a follower of my channel, you know that this month I have been focusing on my scrap box. So I have tried to incorporate paper scraps into any of the collaborations or projects that I possibly can. Trying to make a dent in that box, and I feel like I am, but there are still a lot of scraps left to go. So for this collaboration, obviously I focused on the scraps that were blue, or, you know, would coordinate with blue. And my original plan was not to make a bunch of cards just because I was felt like I was burnt out on cards, but then I kind of got into a rhythm and ended up making mostly cards. So looking at my blue scraps, most of them were strips. I had one piece, well, there were some pieces that I was able to cut into card mats. And so like if they were big enough that I could either get a 4 by 5 1/4 or 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch card mat out of, I did that. And then there was one that was almost square, so I just had to trim it down a little bit and was able to make one of my little pocket bookmarks. And then I had, like I said, a bunch of strips, and so I had some skinny ones, and so I was playing with some different ways on how to use up those skinny strips. And so I decided to try my hand at making a flower. I'd seen this a couple different ways on Pinterest, and so I just kind of was using what I had and trying to come up with a way to make a flower with some of those strips. So I think I used like 8 or 9 strips, I don't remember. And I cut them in different sizes. Some were 4 inches, some were 3.5, and some were 3. But I just took a circle punch that I already had in my stash, didn't matter what color it was, and used that kind of as my base, and then just started laying the strips on kind of perpendicular to each other, and then just so that every kind of nook and cranny was covered. And then I decided to come in, you'll see some different edges here. Some I did just a fishtail on some I used some different types of decorative scissors. I pulled out my decorative scissor stash, and just to kind of give it a little bit more of a fun edge. And then I just used whatever I could find already in my stash, like for circles and flowers and different things to create the centers. And originally I had no idea what I was going to use them for, but then I did end up using most of them on cards. So I have a lot of cards, and I do want to keep this quick since there are a lot of other participants in the collaboration, but I will have any of my card sketches listed in the description box below, and if you guys have any questions on anything I used on my cards, you can let me know in the comments. So I will go ahead and start off with the sketches that I used. This is Mojo Monday sketch number 378. And it says tall and skinny, but I just made it, all of my cards are A2, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I just made it fit my card and just used whatever size strips I already had. And I also did the same thing. I just used a variety of sentiments or stickers that I already had in my stash. So I have 2 versions of these. This is my favorite thing, sketch number 346. And this is one of them that I had made a card mat out of. And then I do have scraps on the insides of them all as well. My favorite thing, sketch number 181. Here's where I used one of those flowers. This isn't my favorite card. I don't know if it's the combination of the colors or the location of the flower, but was just trying something different to use those flowers. This just says sentiment, where creativity meets, and then CG. So again, this will be linked in the description box below. But I liked it because it used strips, and again, I had so many strips. And like I said in my 10 on the 10th video, you're going to see a lot of repetition of some of these patterns, like this chevron, the big blue polka dot, some gray dots, because these were patterns that I used in some letter block sets. Like, in fact, this was our Happy Hanukkah combination. And so the box, my scrap box, sits right next to my silhouette. So once I pull my letters off, any of the usable scrap paper just goes into that box. And so I have a lot of strips of these patterns. And so I was trying to find different ways to kind of use strips. So I made several cards where the strips go diagonal, and just use various sentiments on them. This is Paper Play Sketches number 17. And just pulled in some birthday stickers that coordinated really well with that striped paper, because that was kind of the basis of all the other colors that I chose on here. And then this is, I've got a winter card, because this snowflake pattern was another winter block set that we did, so I had a lot of those scraps as well. Okay, so these are just, there's no sketches, they were just kind of me trying to put scraps together. So I had this cute card already printed out and sitting on my desk, and I'd been trying to find a way to use it for a while, and it came, it's a silhouette file that I had printed out, and it had already had a blue color for this flower here and the heart, but it didn't coordinate with the blue I wanted to use, so I just took a colored pencil and kind of went over it just to darken it and deepen that blue a little bit, and worked out perfect. Something else you see me do a lot is take two strips, put them together to make kind of a card mat, and then cover up the seam with another strip of pattern paper or cardstock. So I tried not to do that a ton here, but I do still have a good handful of cards where I did that. And this one I used the snowflake, another snowflake pattern, to cover up the seam where they met. And then I don't know how well you can tell, but there's like vellum snowflakes that were part of my stash. And then I just used a little blue circle in the center just so I could have an additional place to add some glue on the back of those. Again, here's two strips. Use one of my big flowers. And this is two strips, but with the gray polka dot, it's not so noticeable where the seam was, especially since I had this big floral element here. I didn't add anything, I just let it go. But I like how that big flower is like the focal point, or that like makes a big impact. So I have several of those. And then this one, I just took two pieces of cardstock and put them together, but I left the gap this time. And then this little Dalmatian was actually like a gift tag that I had gotten for a birthday gift a long time ago. But I saved it because he's so super cute, and finally used it on a card and just glued it onto some white cardstock to fussy cut out just to give myself a border. Here's just a birthday card, and using up some fun scrap paper and stickers. This one, oh, there's one more sketch that I just found, but this one I used a whole bunch of skinny strips to put them together, and then just found some stickers that coordinated. This is Freshly Made sketch number 72. Some more of that winter, like the snowflake, wood grain. And so I decided to try something different. I wanted to try my hand at Starburst cards for a while, but for some reason was always intimidated by them. But again, looking for different ways to use some of the strips I had, I decided this would be a great time to try it. And so I did, and they were really very simple. I don't know why I was scared to try them. It's just like everything else, I make it sound harder than it is, or make it seem like it's harder than it is. And it was really easy, and I almost wanted to just keep going, but also wanted to do a variety of different things. So Starburst strips that I cut and glued down, and then I did go in with a black pen just to do some stitching to kind of separate all the patterns. And then this hello, my daughters and I did some paint pouring last month, and my youngest daughter mixed enough colors that she ended up with black. This wasn't black paint, this was just a whole bunch of colors mixed together, and she ended up with black, and she didn't like it, but I was like, ooh, awesome, because I can die cut sentiments out of there and use them on just about anything. So both of these were die cut from the paint pouring on the chipboard that we did. So here's just a bunch of different strips that I was able to put together and make a grid. And this one isn't pattern paper, but it's been in my stash for a while, and it had that blue sky, so I included it here. The easiest card ever. This was a card front on a birthday card that somebody in my family had gotten, and I just thought it was cute. So I had already had it trimmed down, and it was the perfect size for an A2 card, and just added a hello sentiment on it. Some more cards using that blue birthday paper. And this is kind of like a fun masculine. This looks like a man's shirt, or actually it reminds me of like man's pajamas, like button-down pajama pattern. And then just threw on a craft colored sentiment. That, and then one last winter card. And then this was another really easy card. And Teresa Russell, if you're watching, I don't know if you recognize this, but this Project Life card was in the very first design team bundle you sent me, and you had a little note on there, like, you know, what I was supposed to use the items in the bundle for, and what my posting dates were. And so I had saved it because it was a cute card. And so since it was blue, I had pulled it out hoping I could use it, and just added a little thinking of you rub-on sentiment, and that was another simple card. So I have like over 30 cards here using blue patterned scraps, and I did not even use all of my blue, but I ran out of time and was kind of running out of inspiration because I was getting tired of working with just mainly the blue chevron. So I'm going to mix these back in with the rest of my colors, just so I can have some other options of, you know, color combination. So hope you guys enjoyed my cards, got some ideas to use up some blue from your paper stash. Please be sure to check out the participant list in the description box below and check out their blue projects. There's a great mix of crafts that are being done as part of this collaboration. It's not just paper crafts, so it's a great mix, and I love seeing everybody's ideas, and it's very inspirational. So thank you guys so much for your time today. Be sure to check everyone else out in the collaboration, and I hope you're all having a very crafty day.